Hello, my name is Craig Revere, the Marketing Communications Manager here at the HC Companies, and I want to thank you for joining us for this presentation as part of Griffin's 2020 Virtual Expo. For those of you not familiar with HC, we're a leading manufacturer of horticultural containers with facilities throughout North America serving greenhouse, nursery, retail, and cannabis growers with all their container needs. Few industries have not been impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic of 2020 in one way or another. For the horticultural industry, we've seen a resurgence of the home gardener. With many still fairly isolated to their homes, families are heading out to enjoy the natural world right outside their back door. In turn, they're using this time and additional money to make improvements based on the lack of curb appeal they see in front of them. But there are many other reasons why people are heading outdoors to garden, such as the feeling of calm and comfort during times of uncertainty. Being in nature provides a very freeing feeling. Nurturing and cultivating tends to alleviate stress, especially when things feel beyond your control. It teaches children the importance of horticulture, which often provides you with fulfillment and rewards. And if you're growing vegetables or herbs, it provides a fresh food supply to your family. But novice gardeners often struggle with propagation practices, choosing the ideal growing containers for a variety of plants and vegetables, and understanding the proper soil and nutrients needed for healthy growth. Many new gardeners are young, according to a 2019 gardening survey, where millennials comprised 30% of gardening households and continue to outpace older age groups based on their interest in overall health and wellness. But millennials' share of the U.S. housing market was just 4% in 2019, and the pandemic seems to be supporting a downward trend as many are strapped with student loans and fearful of taking on any additional debt due to times of uncertainty. With home ownership declining in this high gardening growth area, container and patio gardens are becoming a popular alternative for small space living. In fact, the Daily Green estimates that U.S. consumers now spend $1.3 billion on container gardening. They're less demanding on people's schedules and are often viewed as a decorative element, producing quick results without being permanent. So how can you contribute to this new field of growers while capturing a piece of the market? You can start by offering gardening starter kits at your location. Include propagation trays, finish pots, soil amendments, and care instructions for optimal success. Make sure to stock your inventory with a variety of decorative containers to fit within any environment, but especially for use on balconies, window ledges, and small spaces. And for garden centers, create pre-assembled finish pots, which help take the guesswork out of creating complementary arrangements for novice growers. A new generation of gardeners is entering the field, and you need to support them in order to retain those customers. Make sure you're ready to handle their needs throughout the process. Another result of the pandemic is that more and more consumers are changing their attitude towards environmental practices. In a recent survey conducted by Kearney Consultants, 48% said the pandemic had made them more concerned about the environment. 55% said that as a result of their COVID-19 experiences, they were more likely to purchase environmentally friendly products. And a whopping 78% of consumers now believe that companies could be doing more to help them make decisions that improve environmental outcomes. For the grower, this is an opportunity to bring your inventory full circle by utilizing and marketing plants grown in sustainable molded fiber growing containers, such as HC's Ecogrow line. I'd like to introduce Bryce Anderson, a territory sales manager here at HC and our resident fiber knowledge expert. He's going to discuss our Ecogrow line of sustainable containers and how they can help you capture today's consumers as their attitudes towards environmental practices change.
Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining today. It's kind of a pleasure to be broadcasting from my home office. Under normal circumstances, there's a pretty good chance you would have found me at a Marriott or a hotel room somewhere in this great country of ours, but that is not the case. So just forewarning, I got dogs, I got a cat, I got a family, and I got kids. So if any interruptions, it's just all part of the fun. And we're going to talk about fiber containers and how those can help our industry. As I mentioned, plastic rules in our industry, but sustainability around us. We go to the grocery store, we see organic produce, there's organic cleaning supplies, there's cleaning products, paper towels, packaging materials that are all being branded and advertised as being sustainable or organic options. And really, fiber containers and other types of sustainable containers available to growers today, that's our industry's version of getting away from plastic. So fiber containers, like I said before, start out with water and paper products. So it's a huge vat, water gets mixed in with paper, and it's mixed up like a batch of cookies, but a really runny batch of cookies. There's a few other key ingredients that are added into it to help with stability, to help with pH adjustment. It's got to be just right, kind of like the baking soda, kind of like the cornstarch that we use in some of our cooking practices, but paper products and water are the two main ingredients. So we've got 4 different types of slurries that we make and manufacture products with on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. One of our slurries is a natural slurry. So that's primarily consists of paper products and water. It's 100% biodegradable. These are the products that we manufacture for maybe some of the other segments outside of horticulture. You go buy a new TV and it's got corner protectors on the TV that are made out of molded pulp. Those are the types of products we make there. Maybe it's a new drill that you buy at the hardware store and it comes packaged in a paper, kind of like a paper clamshell. Those are the types of products that our natural slurry is really geared towards. Our hort slurry is really our traditional slurry. This is the slurry that cord products started out years ago using, and that's water, paper, but it also contains a non-organic binding agent to help kind of provide some product integrity, some rigidity, and some durability to the container. This is without a doubt our most durable slurry, and our products are the most durable coming out of the hort slurry. These containers cannot be planted. They are biodegradable. They're made out of paper products. And we also do apply a wax coating to many of these containers for aesthetics. It makes it a nice, rich, dark brown, or just for added durability. All of our hanging baskets are wax coated, and they're going to have a rich, dark, more of a richer brown look to them. Today, we're going to focus more on our Ecogrow products, which are Ecogrow products are what I consider our kind of our next generation of fiber grow. And Ecogrow products are water, newsprint or news stock, and a fungicide on our regular Ecogrow that helps inhibit some of the mold growth. Organic Ecogrow does not have the fungicide added to it, so we can adhere to organic standards. And then it's got an organic certified plant-based binder, which is kind of the secret sauce that goes into the blend. It really does 2 things. It provides product integrity, and the properties of this binding agent that we use, it almost kind of acts like a wax. So it almost in a way repels water while these containers are being grown in the greenhouses at home or wherever you want to do it. So the way the molding process works is it starts with the slurry. We've got a series of screen-based molds that get dunked into this slurry. A vacuum negative pressure is applied to these molds, and the pulp literally gets sucked up to these brass molds, which then come out of the slurry, and they get dropped onto a big pizza oven type belt, and it goes through a heating oven to dry down the moisture content. Once they come off the end of the oven belt, they're able to be handled and packaged and prepared for shipment or put into the warehouse for storage for future orders. So back to Ecogrow. Why Ecogrow today? I think Ecogrow provides a unique opportunity to do a couple things. Whereas fiber grow containers are kind of chunky and and thick-walled. Maybe think of it as a thick-walled container, very durable, round pots, square pots, bowls, planters, and the Fibergrow series have been around for close to 30 years. You can still find those products in our offering. We still sell a lot of them today. Ecogrow is this new thinner walled technology that was really designed around the needs of today's grower and today's retailer and some of the needs that today's consumers are looking for in a sustainable container alternative to plastic. So we have two primary lines of Ecogrow. We've got Ecogrow Standard, which is not organic certified, has the binding agent for strength. We manufacture Ecogrow out of post-industrial recycled newsprint. So this is printed paper, it's Sunday ads, it's black ink, it's colored ink. It's whatever you could expect to find in a Sunday ad or a Sunday newspaper when you bring it in to read it. You take that when you're done, we'll take that and we'll put it into our slurry to make Ecogrow pots. We do add a small amount of fungicide to this slurry to try to limit the mold growth that can sometimes persist with natural and sustainable alternatives available to us in the greenhouse. I kind of liken it to saprophytic mold that we sometimes find on the top of our pots as we're growing. And because of that, we can't claim that Ecogrow is compostable because the composting guidelines state that any non-allowed material cannot be used in a compost pile. Organic Ecogrow really comes into the growers that are organic certified. I get asked a lot, why do you have two lines of Ecogrow? Well, organic Ecogrow is made from post-industrial, unprinted new stock. So the NOP for organic certification and allowable materials does not allow for colored ink. It does not allow for glossy material or glossy paper to be used. So it's a really, really fine blend that we put together, and we're very particular about the new stock that we use. So to make it easy, we go unprinted, we go no glossy. So it's a totally different blend that's catered to the organic grower. And it also doesn't include the fungicide, which is not allowed for organic growing. So when should we use organic Ecogrow? I think that really in my mind, the only time that a grower should consider using organic Ecogrow products is if they're organic certified naturally, or if they're not organic certified, but they want to implement organic practices into their growing operation. Maybe they've got a couple houses that they want to promote organics and they're going to use organic practices. It would be a good opportunity to weave in some organic Ecogrow products. But if you're not organic certified and you're not required to be organic certified, you can stick with just standard Ecogrow. So what about fiber? It breathes like clay. One of the biggest things that I've noticed through all my work on working with Fibergrow and Ecogrow over the years is it's really after that initial plant. When we plant in plastic containers in a peat-based media, we get kind of that muck factor, I call it, when you water the plants in, where it's really super hydrated and it kind of sits for a while. The Ecogrow, one of the first things I noticed, and very profound with the Ecogrow, is there is no muck factor very shortly after, after the plants are planted and the plants are watered in. Ecogrow can be planted, Fibergrow cannot. You can plop the Ecogrow container right in the ground, and it provides for a zero waste solution. So nothing to go into the compost pile, the compost bin, the recycling bin, or the garbage, nothing going to the landfill. And they're automation friendly. We kept in mind what growers' needs are today when designing it. So all of our Ecogrow growing containers are developed around a tray that we offer in our portfolio, so they can be loaded into a shuttle tray and run through a flat filler, just like a normal plastic pot. And we do offer them in various sizes, and we continue to add and develop new sizes today. The first sizes that we launched about 4 or 5 years ago were a 3.5-inch round standard through a 6-inch round azalea pot. We're now getting into some work on some trade gallons, trade 2 gallons, trade 3 gallons, as well as some different inserts and such. So one that's kind of started to gain some traction is we have an 1801 sheet of pots in an Ecogrow formulation, and doing some work with that on whether or not those can be plopped right in the landscape. And the feedback coming back has been nothing but great so far. So why did we do trials? I've got a little bit of a trial background. I did a lot of trial work in college. I was a grower for many years. Used to work with different companies testing products. It's something that's fun for me. You know, kind of like at HC, I'm primary sales, but I love getting my hands into some of these things on the side, like our sustainability initiatives, do a little bit of new product development, and also part of our continuous improvement team as well. And you know, I was interested. I wanted to find out, you know, what is it going to do? How's it going to work? So that's the number one question I get, and our team gets, and our reps out in the field get asked is, how does it hold up? How do these containers last during the growing cycle? How do they do during a retail cycle? So we wanted to find out. Started trials. I did a lot of these trials myself, or I monitored them personally. I think it's important to mention that all of these trials were conducted in actual production greenhouses during actual production cycles, and they weren't simulated, so to speak. So I really feel comfortable that these trials were not biased. You know, they were grown under normal, typical greenhouse cultural conditions. We wanted to see how the integrity of the pot held up over time. We wanted to see how it looked over time. We wanted to know how it handled. And then getting to the consumer level, we wanted to know how it degraded over time and how it did in the soil and how it did in a pot and all shift. Cultural practices were a big one for me. I'm known for saying under typical greenhouse conditions, or applying typical cultural practices. And what this means to me is to really do a good trial, whether it be with media or whether it be with a new size or shape of a container, or with a sustainable container like Ecogrow that we're talking about. We want to mix this in with some of our standard crops in similar sizes, but we want to treat it as a separate crop. So in these trials, we did Ecogrow side by side with plastic in many of them, but we really treated them as two separate pots or two separate crops. The number one reason for that was I've found over the years, you know, during soil trials especially, that if I were trialing different types of medias with different bark content or different renewable components added to it, if I watered my current media the same as I water the trial media, one of the two is going to suffer one way or the other because they're totally different medias. Same principle applied to the Ecogrow trials for me. I wanted the Ecogrow trial crops to be treated as that crop needed to be treated regardless of the container that it was in. Irrigation is really the biggest component to treating it as a separate crop. So the control crops that were in plastic containers were irrigated as needed. So it was under typical irrigation practices with the water and moisture requirements that crop demanded in that container. The same was applied to Ecogrow as the crop needed to be irrigated. Now we tested it all. We did overhead irrigation, we did drip irrigation, we did flood irrigation, automatic, hand, boom, you name it. We just kind of ran it through the cycle of a typical greenhouse production scenario, and we let it ride. I'm very encouraged by the trial work that we've done. I'm very encouraged with the results of the trial work that many growers that we work with have done. I'm very encouraged and very happy and excited about how Ecogrow is working for growers who have incorporated into being part of their product mix, whether it be one of the growers that went 100% full scale with it, and that's all they do is Ecogrow, or if it's the grower that's working Ecogrow into, you know, as part of their organics program, which is part of their mix. We're getting really good results all around and good feedback all around. But, you know, I can go over slides with everybody, you know, all day long and talk about growing. I love growing. I miss growing. I wish I was still a grower in many regards, but really it comes down to how does it work for you? So, you know, I get asked, how's it going to work for me? My question right back is, I'd really like you to tell me. Can you help me out? Why don't you give it a shot?
As the demand for more containers continues, we'd like to share with you a few new products which may prove beneficial to your operation going forward. First, we have our new Progression series. Here's the hanging basket with specifications. Here's the planter with specifications. Our new Progression line is available in 10-inch sizes for the planter and basket. These traditionally styled containers are visually pleasing with a delicate ring pattern artfully spaced on the outside. The rims include tag slots for retail and are available in dark gray, chocolate, and black. Next, we have our 6.5-inch azalea pot with specifications. Our popular 6-inch azalea pot is now joined by a slightly larger size, a 6.5-inch. It features 4 levels of drainage, which are water mat compatible and has superior denesting capability for automation systems. It includes 4 tag slots for retail in the rim and is available in green, terracotta, and black. Finally, we have our mini pots with specifications. Our mini pots and trays are ideal for succulents, which are extremely popular in the market today, and other small plants it's hard to find a container for. They're available in 60 millimeter and 70 millimeter diameters. The 70 millimeter size includes 2 tag slots for retail. Containers are terracotta and trays are white to help limit heat retention and water evaporation. I want to thank you for taking the time to sit in on our presentation, and I hope you found the content valuable and informative. For product information and catalogs, you can visit our website at hc-companies.com. For specific questions on HC products, you can reach out to Chris Soltis or Vicki Brown, who will be happy to assist you. Have a wonderful day.